All right, so let's talk about the Dover race today. Let's go ahead and throw this up on the screen. I do want to move this a little bit closer. Here we are. All right, so for today, look, this is where I'm at. I'm probably gonna do 20 lines. I'm not gonna play FanDuel today. Just not feeling it. I don't necessarily like it for FanDuel. I typically like FanDuel when things are a little bit more wide open, or at least I can, we have practice stuff and things like that. This is a really interesting situation here. So when we look at salaries, in the grand scheme of things, let's just go ahead and I just want to talk about this aspect really fast. I need to clear out these bad boys. Did I mess it up? Oh no. Oh no. Okay, never mind. Hold on. Sorry. I wasn't gonna approach from this aspect, but now I want to, for example. So just talking salaries real fast. Fuck, I need starting positions too. Sorry, hold on. But let's look into my point, actually. All right, here we are. All right, sorry about that. So when we look at salaries here, I'm not saying we're moving some of the field, but certainly in terms of value ranges, in terms of who's viable, who's not viable and stuff, there's people that we can very easily just X out here. Okay, so we lose the bottom of the value tier. Okay. So this is a race to where JJ, Ty Dillon, BJ is clearly not even possible. Okay, so that lowers the field down to 33. Okay, when we start looking at different drivers and different people who can work out stuff, when we see like Gregson, who has been incredibly slow this year. Let me bring up another thing. Who has been, sorry. When we look at Gregson and his speed, it has been incredibly slow. When we look at how he was, he was the 26th best car at Fontana, 31st best car at Las Vegas. We're not going to see that big of an increase from Noah Gregson. Okay, I don't foresee Gregson showing up and performing today in a way that fuck his price. Just being around people who are going to score more than him. We're removing Gregson, and so we're losing more and more of our potential value plays. And so, yes, I have one line with Poole, but for the grand scheme of things, we have lost the bottom tier of our salary. Okay, that's just how we're at. LaJoy, good practice speed. Harrison Burton, good speed, good good in a sense, good form coming in. 26 or 20th best car at Fontana, 30th best car at Las Vegas, but he turns both those around and do a better finish than what he should have been at. 15th at Fontana, 26th at Las Vegas. Burton, LaJoy, Haley, all in play. You can even go to Gillen too. And so when we look at the bottom here, it's a situation where we got these guys down here that we're most likely using. Okay, I think Haley's probably the best pivot there, just based on. I think he has a higher upside, honestly enough. Like, LaJoy probably has the best upside of anybody because he showed real speed. We've seen real speed out of LaJoy. When we look at where he's finished this year, he was the 12th best car at Fontana, 23rd best car at Las Vegas, brings those into a 14th and 20th place finishes, respectively. So LaJoy is clearly the best one out of these four drivers. Haley is probably the best pivot in this range. We are most likely still using Gillen and Burton in lineups. This is not what's important in this race here. Once we start going through this field, like Allgaier, Jones, Eric Almirola, I'm doing this in a very blunt fashion just to get my point across. Cindric, Gibbs, I'm going to remove Stenhouse here. Based on my projections, it was wanting to use them in just some one-offs and stuff like that. For the most part, we're not using Stenhouse. We are not using these individual drivers here. Okay, and so yet again, our pool is getting very, very, very small very quickly. And it's majorly important because this is the bottom half of the salary. Okay, so this is a situation where all lineups, all roads lead to these 5 drivers. Okay, whether it be 3 of them, whether it be 2 of them, they're going to be pretty popular. Okay, and for the most part, in terms of who has the best chance of actually working out based on salary, it is most likely these drivers. Okay, so we're looking at, this is your pool down here. These are most likely guys who are going to be optimal. At this point, where does the race go? Who else are we going? If we're paying up for people, which we're going to get to the top part in a second, that means we're not buying Bubba Wallace, okay? We're not paying for Suarez. Buescher, if you want to get different, go right ahead. Keselowski, maybe based on where he's been performing as of late, he showed all right practice speed, but for the grand scheme of things, we're most likely removing these drivers, okay? And I'm not saying, this is what you should be doing, but this is what I saw based on my projections alone. Now, I understand, I lean more ways than other people and so on and so forth. Past this, Blaney, not going to play Blaney. Just don't see it, okay? Logano, don't see him competing for the win, okay? Reddick, not going to get there. I like other 9K guys, Harvick, very difficult to get to with whatever you're doing, all right? So now we're here, okay? We got an extremely short pool, an extremely small field of drivers, okay? And honestly, look at me. Let me make sure I have audio coming through. Okay, cool. We got people going through. When we look, let me know. Honestly, talk to me. Make real cases for the people that I have highlighted red that aren't needing favorites, that aren't needing people who are going to be fast, be up there, racing for the lead, running into trouble. Okay, realistically, do we see Reddick showing up and killing the field today? I don't think so. I don't foresee that, okay? So when we get here, the priorities, the people that should argue that you should play, that you should chase, that you should get to, are Larson, Byron, and Elliott, okay? These are the guys who are showing phenomenal speed at intermediate tracks, showing phenomenal speed as of late. Just in general, these guys are fast. They should be your priority, okay? Once we get to Hamlin, Bell, Truex, Chastain, okay, it's very, I don't find it very likely that 2 of these guys are going to work out, because I believe that we're probably going to have 2 of these gentlemen work, okay? And so when we look at realistic value play or realistic people being optimal, it's the guys in blue right here. At this point, it then probably goes to Bell and Kyle Busch, potentially being optimal as an early lap leader, however you want to look at it. Okay, so at this point, if you're getting to Hamlin, which I have in some lines, when you're getting to Truex, which I have in some lines, when you're getting to Chastain, which I have in some lines, it's because you're trying to get different. Okay, but let's realistically remove these guys. So this is it. This is your pool. If you're not being aggressive with Keselowski, this is it. Just how it goes. And I'm showing this to be this is what I believe a lot of lineups are going to be using. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 drivers. My bad. 10 with Busch. I did not mean to get Busch out. I'll throw Bell back in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right? 5, 6, 11 drivers. That's it, man. I think the pool is small today. I think you run these sumbitches in whatever optimizer you want to do, whatever you want to do, call it a day. And I think that's it, which is a reason why I'm not playing FanDuel. Typically, the pool is already small there. I just don't necessarily want to work with it. I think we're going to see duplicates on FanDuel. But for the most part, I think this is who it is. I think these are the drivers that are going to be there, going to be popular, have the highest likelihood of working out. I would try and personally be underweight on Austin Dillon. I would try and get different with Haley. I would try and get different with, probably Barry. Barry has a chance of working out as well. But these, this is it, man. I find it hard to believe that between these guys up front or these guys up top, we don't have a race winner. I find it very hard to believe that between these guys down here, we don't have at least 2 or 3 being optimal. It's just it's one of those races, which is fine. I have a small pool. If it's wrong, it's wrong, whatever the case may be. But that's where I'm at. I don't really have much an opinion off of these drivers. This is primarily what I'm using. As I said, if we're getting anybody else past this, it's because we're trying to get different. We're trying to not have a duplicated line. But this is it. And I just saw this last night when I did projections and stuff, and I was like, dude, the pool realistically is pretty small. And at max, it's probably 15 drivers in your pool week in and week out. Anyway, that's it. I guess we're gonna goof around, or I can answer questions and stuff like that. But these are the drivers that I would argue have the highest potential of working out and being optimal. Blue's optimal. Green should probably be the pool, and everything else after that is you're hoping things get different. That's just how it is, man. And I think Elliott has a real chance of winning this race. And I really do think that this is probably Keselowski's best chance so far getting a top 5 this year. But really past that, this is kind of where we're at. So let's kind of take that off the screen and just kind of talk and goof around and have some fun here. Normally I don't sort things by salaries, but I think it was very important to just view it in that regard this week. So let's go ahead here. Thank you, Timothy. I'm glad that worked out. I didn't have any Truex, man. I was so just whiffed it. I looked at it. I had tunnel vision. I had tunnel vision on the other JGR guys, on Austin Hill, on Creed. Never considered Truex, which a lot of us didn't. I think he was 6% owned, somewhere around there. The picks were awesome outside of Truex, man. So unfortunate there. And I think Timmy Hill lost positions on the last lap. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I've been incredibly busy yesterday and stuff. Shit, I only slept like 5 hours last night. I went to bed like 1:30, looking for the F1 race and stuff. Which Miss Perez had everything covered except the Perez captain line. Unfortunate time in that safety car. Anyway, so that's where we're at. What's going on, Eagles? What's going on, Nick? What's going on, Jordan? Happy to have you here. Stenhouse viable. Man, if it was a short track, I would be okay. I really would. And yes, passing at Dover is going to be difficult. That's perfectly fine. As you said, if you've watched any of my stuff this week, I mean, people are going to bitch and moan about this race. I guarantee you, people are going to complain about this race. I don't have enough passes. Dover sucks. Like, that's just how Dover is. I like Dover. Stenhouse. Let's go ahead and look at practice laps, and then So when we look at practice laps here, I have, this is BJ McLeod, just because he ran 3 laps. When I had sorted his averages by what I wanted to, he was 7th fastest, but realistically, this is where we fall in line at. Excuse me. What concerns me about Stenhouse is, and yes, I understand that practice was pretty kind of stupid, not a lot of laps and everything here. But when we look specifically at, let's just look at a green racetrack, because that's what we're going to run into here. Let's look at right off the bat in terms of setups, which is what we're going to see right off the bat in this race. Now, I'm not saying that teams can't make progress or changes and things like that, but let's realistically compare. And this is one thing that really concerns me about people like Reddick Jones, Ryan Preece, Chase Briscoe, even Suarez, AJ Allmendinger, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano to an extent. Like, let's just realistically, like at the start of this, we're not running Q. So Stenhouse goes out there, Austin Hill and Rex. So he goes back out there. So let's just very quickly, and not, I know my face is in the way on this side, but we just look at these early laps here. He's 154 average. When we look at his run coming out of pit lane, it's 154.92. Okay, which is fine, but Stenhouse is starting 9th, okay? What concerns me is that there are a lot of people who 5 laps in, 10 laps in, are maintaining a higher average than he is, and he certainly runs the fall off way quicker than what I would feel comfortable seeing. Clearly the fast guys, you're hitting 151s, lap 11, lap 10, whatever the case may be. Stenhouse is hitting those very early. And so I'm concerned about the long run for Stenhouse. Granted, we don't have anything to look at in terms of that. but inferring, like, for example, like when you look at Ty Gibbs, compare his run to Ty Gibbs, his long run. I understand that this isn't a ton of laps, but Ty Gibbs isn't falling off nearly as much and nearly at a true progressive rate as Stenhouse. There's a huge discrepancy in terms of his early run speed and his later lap speed. And I understand that practice was short and everything, and this is kind of me taking a guess, just looking at what I would see, or what I trying to predict what I would end up seeing and stuff like that. So Stenhouse, as I said, when I put my stuff in, it was willing to use Stenhouse, and very similar to Keselowski. Like, I want to have maybe 2 lines with Brad. Probably gonna have 2 lines with Stenhouse. I think it's a liability. I would be, I'm concerned about which, in GPP we only need 1 line to work. So if we're building our 1 or 2 Stenhouse lines, which I always say, like when you're using one-offs, don't be like, oh, this lineup's ugly. Like, build around that driver, build around that type of lineup. If Stenhouse's salary works, build around what makes him work, not only in that salary range, but who around him, probably at 1,500 up and 1,500 down, who's struggling, who's getting in, who's not getting it. Like, if Stenhouse is getting in, it's because he's staying up there, and it's due to his salary, okay? So build that. You don't have to go overweight on Stenhouse. You just have to build that lineup if you enjoy Stenhouse and stuff. Hell yeah, Timothy. Yeah, that core was awesome. Harvick and Cash. Oh, was it? Oh, sweet. That's awesome. So we're gonna get a ton of views, hopefully, and hopefully I can just get all this shit done, not even worry about it. Okay, yeah, cool. That's good. We got it early. Okay, cool. So I got plenty of time to goof around with lines and stuff. Anyway, let's continue. Let's kind of keep on talking here. Practice was overcast and drizzle. If the race would be a completely different track. I mean, yes and no. A green racetrack is just how it's going to be. I don't think, like, the temperature isn't that big of an issue. The fact that we're going to have the track go from just a green racetrack to having tire wear. I understand that it was overcast in practice, but I'm not really factoring that in a sense of, like, we're gonna have huge tire fall off. We're gonna have a huge swing in tracks in the track change anyway. Track is most likely to be loose to begin with, and it's only gonna get looser. Okay, whether the sun is out, whether it's not. Like, that's honestly, it's a brand new track in general. I'm not too concerned about that. Good. Let's go back to sleep. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I can take a nap later, so I don't have to stay up and watch that shitty ass race. I'll go ahead and take this off now. So those are my thoughts in terms of chasing drivers. Like, I'm not even looking at practice data in this sense. Kyle Larson has been phenomenal here. We don't have to overstate that. And this isn't a situation where I'm like, oh, let's just only look at track position. We're looking at this, way down the line. We're not using this as a starting point. But Larson has been pretty phenomenal here. When we look at how he ran at Las Vegas, yes, he ran into trouble at Fontana. But when we look at how he ran at intermediate tracks, how he's been running lately, Hendrick is at the very top of how these cars are performing. And entering the month of May, I have to analyze this in the sense of what changes are Joe Gibbs truly going to make that are going to eclipse what Hendrick is showing up. Yes, we have Bell starting up front. We have Denny Hamlin starting 13th. We have Truex starting 17th. But right beside him, like Byron's 8th, Elliott's 10th, Kyle Larson's 18th. Byron and Chase Elliott already have the track position over the Toyotas. They're most likely to have a faster car in general. Okay? Larson has place differential already baked in, and he most likely has a top 5 car. And just speaking of where he's going to be in terms of speed, I'm just not probably going to get to the Joe Gibbs cars out of, like, projection wise. Right now I have 13 lines made. I have 2 with Hamlin. I have 3 with Bell. But that'll honestly probably be the extent of it, because I will probably end up leaning more just towards those drivers that I was talking about and stuff already. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah. I mean, it's not that bad. Like, dude, give me a Monday race. That's way easier. And then I can just chill, take a nap, watch NBA, do my league race tonight, and then I have something fun to do on tomorrow because I never really do anything on Monday, so that's fun. We get a noon start. We don't have to worry about weather and rain. We're probably still gonna have overcast and stuff, or if it doesn't, whatever. I haven't looked at the fucking weather tomorrow. No, I mean, there's still gonna be overcast because there is a percent of rain tomorrow. It's like 20% chance of rain, so it's not gonna be just a sunny day, whatever the case may be. What's going on, Clutch? But yeah, guys, man, I mean that's really it. I know. Typically I mean, I just like talking and not necessarily making stands, but just not wasting your time. That's kind of why I opened this, just being like, look at the realistic pool outside of those guys I listed, like Harvick. For Harvick to work, we need huge favorites to run to issues. Okay, that's just what it is. Let's talk about Kyle Busch and Bell, because I think that is an argument worth having or a discussion worth having. So for me, I'm not playing Kyle Busch because he's starting first. I'm not playing Kyle Busch due to him, maybe staying in the top 10. I'm playing Kyle Busch because I think he is going to have a top 5 car. I think head-to-head between the top 5 starters, because he really only has to beat Bell. I think he can have a faster car than Bell off the start. I think he certainly has a faster car than Blaney and Keselowski and Buescher and Briscoe. So we don't have to necessarily worry about that. I like his pit stall. Okay, that's going to come into play. That's huge. Look at what Austin Hill was able to do. The fact that he was still stuck in traffic. And yes, he never was able to really capitalize on it. And look at this just in past races here at Dover, not necessarily just because Xfinity happened yesterday. But number one pit stall is huge. It's going to keep Kyle Busch up front. Unless he gets speeding, then if that's the case, we're fucked beyond belief in different regards. And his pricing, I think Kyle Busch is honestly mispriced. I talked about entering this week that we've had like some. The schedule kind of sucks. Following Las Vegas, it's Phoenix, Atlanta, Coda, Richmond, Bristol, Dirt, Martinsville, and Dega. Okay, at this point, let's forget everything that's happened the last month and a half. And look at where Kyle Busch was. We can look at, and this is a situation where I look at things correctly. Following Auto Club, I did not like Kyle Busch at Las Vegas. I did not think he would have the speed at Las Vegas, and he didn't. We saw people following that. When I look at Dover, I think that this is a situation where RCR can look back, be like, look, this is where we missed. We had a 9th, 8th, 10th place car at Las Vegas. Let's make some changes for the intermediate stuff, a month later. And I think that Kyle Busch is going to be able to at least stay up front, at least beat Bell. That's where I'm at. So that's why I like Kyle Busch tomorrow. I guess I got to stop saying today. But yes, that's where we're at there. Make sure FanDuel changes I don't give a shit. Fuck FanDuel. I don't give a fuck. I ain't playing on that. I'm playing on that today. Who cares? People work Mondays normally. Yeah, unfortunate. Let's see. The race day was just okay. All right, guys. I'm aware of that. I'm glad that everybody's coming in here, but we have at least I'm getting engagement. I guess that's one way. Man, that's gonna be annoying, especially when everybody comes in. Oh, the race is postponed to tomorrow. I'm well aware of that at this point. Yeah, I think at this point, unless you guys want to rant about anything, unless you guys want to hear me talk about anything, I think that's kind of it, man. I think I covered at least how I want to approach this race. I do want to be. I mean, I'll end on this. I want to be hesitant on Austin Dillon. I think he scores right around 29 to 33 points. I would want to be hesitant on. Actually, I would not want to play Logano. I am worried about Hamlin, Chastain, Truex just not getting the lead or getting fast laps in this race. I would be very hesitant on playing Preece. I don't think Priest is going to perform well tomorrow. I think that I just don't see Priest work his way into the top 20. And Bubba Wallace, I'm worried about that. I think he probably finishes around like 18th to maybe 15th, and that's going to be right around like 32 to 38 points. I'd be concerned about that. And if we see a difference here, because as I said, we're coming off short tracks and stuff, use Dover as where these people are right now, because this is off the trailer. 2 days to prepare basically for this race to have an understanding of what they want to bring. When we leave Dover here, we are using this data. We absolutely lean on this data for Kansas and Charlotte, okay? I mean, yeah, clearly use it for Darlington and stuff like that. But entering Kansas, it's whoever is fast tomorrow, you play them at Kansas, regardless of what the practice data says, and you play them at Charlotte, unless we see a drastic shift in what and how they perform here at Darlington, and we see like a huge drastic change between Kansas Darlington. Whoever performs well today, play them in the 600 at the end of May. That's really my final advice, and that's where I stand at. And yeah, I'm gonna end it there. Best of luck, and yeah, hopefully you guys are able to just enjoy the rest of your Sunday with your family, and I will see you guys on a review probably later on Monday or Tuesday, or a preview for Kansas later in the week. So I'll see you guys then, and yeah, this is pretty painless, pretty fast, pretty easy. So yeah, see you guys later.